Hi, welcome on my channel. Thank you for joining me. So, today I want to do a talk on building a strong foundation. And I made a topic list for myself, kinda with topics in mind that I would want to talk about on my channel, but these were just, from learning, study work I did, but also personal experiences I have and things I thought like, okay, these are, I don't know exactly how I'm going to do the subjects in that, and how I'm going to do the order of the talks that I'm going into. But I thought building building upon some videos I already made on my channel and what I am currently experiencing, but also reflecting upon, I thought this topic would be a good one to talk about today. What I want to go into, I have a few things in mind. So building a strong foundation. My channel is mostly about spirituality, things that are in my interest, like astrology, numerology, alchemy, the zodiac. But also, I want to, we're all living as humans on Earth. I want to make it also practical. And I can say actually that has a lot to do with my purpose, my destiny, my divine blueprint here on earth to be like that. So not only, and I will go into that a bit later, the visions and manifestation magic, those kind of things. Let's you also have to wake up every day and make something of your life yourself. But in doing that, in building a strong foundation, you will also get, if you're open to that, so if you're opening yourself up to divine guidance, magical things can happen in your life. And a lot of people maybe want to say, like, a bit in the ego, I did that all myself, but that's not true. So can't take credit for all of it. But I do want to say, so this is going to be a bit about also manifestations that happened in my life, that at the time that I was manifesting these things, I wasn't fully, I didn't even know this all then, but later, and now I'm older, wiser, I can see how these things manifested by taking certain steps, but also divinely being gifted with some things. But you have to do the work for that. It's not gonna be, I'm going to state this here because I actually really told someone this once, and I have first-hand experience with these kind of things too. Why I also said, like, energy, intent, the good and the bad. So I once even said the subject like manifestation when it goes wrong. Those things can happen too. And I told someone that things you want in life, God is going to make you work for it and then give it to you. And the dark, whatever you want to call that, Satan, Lucifer, the demons, are going to throw it in your lap. But that cost will come later. And so which path would you... And it's okay, sometimes manifestations go bad and you make bad, let's call it that, everything has polarity. it can blow up in your face. So I said once before, also in a talk of mine, when I was also a bit in these subjects, are you sure that what you are trying to manifest is the best for your higher good and for the higher good of all involved? Or if you manifesting something and then it comes to you, you can have the experience of, that's not what I wanted, but it is, because your soul wants to learn. And that's sometimes in the not so fun way. And also, if you're manifesting towards it, so hence why I'm seeing this in building a strong foundation. Are you ready for it? And are you able to keep it? So, coming to the subject, building a strong foundation and some personal experiences of mine with how I manifested some things. Because yeah, I did get, and if you look into what I shared about the law of cause and effect, that you could say I was lucky in my life at times, and but yeah, those things happen for a reason. So I've had people judge me for certain things, but I know why that came into my life at that time. And that I didn't go all egomaniac. I made mistakes. I learned from that. Will also come forth in this video I'm making. But yeah, so that's a bit of my introduction, how I came to, I knew. I set just like this goal list of topics, and later on I will find how to, like I said, you have a main subject and you make parts of that to make a storyline and try to give something to the person viewing this content to be like, oh, I could maybe apply that in my own life. So that's my aim, okay? Sharing my experiences and hopefully helping someone out there with it. So I was thinking back, because I'm doing reflecting, and that's actually quite important, especially where, I wasn't really into Mercury retrograde at first, but maybe at this time it's extra important for me because it's in my rising sign in Sagittarius, and a Mercury retrograde is retro. The word means to be reflecting on past things you did, and some of the spiritual things I have learned are also in line with study work I did way before I got into this journey. I'll come to that, okay? Because I studied commercial economics, business, small business, retail management. And I was thinking back, so why I'm doing this talk also and why these topics are coming in, that is because I was like looking in 10 years back. So when I was around 17, 27, and I know my nodal return will be around 36, 37. I'll look into that later, do a video on that later. But yeah. So that's why I was reflecting some things in my life and how everything came to the foundation I have built now. And I have built some foundations, but also those got, for certain reasons, also thrown like out of the picture. Like you have to let that go on to the next level, next thing you're going to build in your life. So that's why I was looking back also at my career path, because I'm in a moment to reflect on that also. What do I want to do in the coming time, in the coming years? And how I'm, what goals do I have and how am I going to get there? So I'm a business consultant and I have a lot of working experience with a lot of businesses, and I do that from a director, entrepreneur level, so being a consultant, until the all the way down, so strategic, and then making a project, but also being able to manage that project, and in that I'm very skilled in both marketing and sales, and these days a lot is digital marketing, but I also have a lot of know-how of offline marketing. So when I started my study, the internet wasn't as big as that it is now. So these things grown, and later I can also see with some things I've learned and some things I've seen in visions and what is coming in the times to come. There are some things why I really understand that my soul, my passion, my wanting to learn about certain things, what do I want to do in my professional life, but also be happy with. It's not all about making money and those kind of things. So how that aligned me to a lot of my career in digital marketing. But that's too soon. I shared this once on my page. Maybe some of you will know what I'm talking about, what I've seen. But I want to keep this a bit more, I'll go back into that later, maybe. Take a while to speak on that agenda I've seen, and really because what I did in my working experience and stuff, really understanding how that could go. So when I started studying, I've worked as a salesperson in a shoe store for about 7 years, next to the study I was doing in my bachelor degree. So I had to really start at the bottom. Sometimes, it depends on, but yeah, if you have the childhood that I had, and the non-supportive, and actually want to undermine your success, you have to take a longer road to get where you want to be. But let me say there, so let's go a bit back to when I was 17, and then around that time I had to make a career choice. So I started with a form of small business retail management, but yeah, I don't know how they call that in English, but you have, I think that's college. So you have to make a decision of what am I going to do. And so I shared this today in a short of mine underneath that. My passion led me to, I saw content creators back then online doing tests of beauty products and doing all kinds of things with makeup and writing about that. And I was into, fashion at that time. So I thought like, oh, what do that vision that got created due to things I was interested in. At that time, I started to do that study and work in a store. Did that for about 7 years, but in that time I finished that college degree. And then I started thinking, man, I had such a nasty experience with retail that I came to be like, I don't want this. I want a sort of an office job, but I don't want to be tied to the office. I want to I like sales, I like working with people, I like learning from people. I don't know, maybe I eventually want to be an entrepreneur. Maybe I still want to start my own store, but I have more in my potential and more still to learn. So yeah, with my then partner, discussed that, because that costs money, costs time, so you don't, if you're in a relationship and the husband kind of, because we were engaged eventually, if your husband has plans for a family and stuff, you have to discuss those things. So okay, I got he's a marketing director actually for a really big company at the moment. He's 5 years older than I am, but he said like, okay, go back to school after my college degree. So I went for my bachelor then. So I did that, and I did research for other. So I dabbled a bit in other types of companies next to the work I was still doing at that shoe store. Um, and then when I was 27, I think I finished my degree. And then I got my first office job, and then I became an account manager, project manager in digital marketing specifically. So I got like a portfolio of 25, 30 clients, all varying from, yeah, they call it in Dutch the bakker om de hoek. So the bakery on the corner store, on the corner. That's doing some online advertising up into when I grew in my knowledge and in my working experience, up to an international business that was in Indonesia, America, and that we had to build like 4 different websites in different languages, and having internationally meetings to you have a delivered product was 4 websites then. So, and you have to learn your customer and what they sell and the customers of your customer to make that happen. So it's a long-term project if you work on those kind of things. In not a bakery around the corner store that wants some ads on social media and Google advertise. That's that's how I learned from having a small business until an international, larger company that is trying to, grow, be it online or offline. So they call that in marketing omni-channel. So that happened, and I understand now for a part why that aligns to a part of my purpose. So, and I found this way later, even when I started with learning spirituality, I wasn't in depth with my own natal chart, divine blueprint, alchemy, those kind of things at all. But it did line up, and I can tell you, I also got divine assistance to keep. So I had a goal and it changed during working on that goal. So that's possible. It's not one straight line towards the shaping of your destined path. You can change your mind about some things. That's okay. You just have to listen to your heart and keep following your passion. So I have to then go a bit back. I'm sorry for that I have to do that, because I forgot something. When I started at 17, I also made the decision, because I was being abused at home mentally, and eventually that turned physically. And then I was depressed AF like that, and really getting sorts of psychological torture, but also in the sense of not being able to eat and those kind of things. So yeah, went through that. So I'm a kind of a bit, and these people won't agree with that, but I kind of was like Cinderella with an evil stepmom, and my dad was zoned out all the time. I could say a lot about that, but I don't want to go too much into that anymore, but that really happened. So I made a decision back then, not really wanting to, but having to go to my doctor and talk about this, because these people want me drugged out, wanted to undermine steps that I was taking towards building something for myself. So that happened. So I went to talk with my, again, GP, huisarts, my doctor, saying I'm depressed, I'm getting beaten at home, I've had all kinds of psychological torture, my stepmom hates my guts and actually wants me kind of dead. Really by, not providing me just basic care in clothing, food, proper sleep, those kind of things, okay, just okay, and then eventually within a year, Child Protective Services placed me out of home. What did they do? We were still in sort of family therapy in the beginning, and I still tried for a few years to keep some form of relationship or build another form of relationship with them, keeping them in my life and seeing how can we move past this. And but they actually did and it's mostly her, not him, but he didn't have I always have like a sort of disdain towards my father figure, in that of having no spine, being and she's narcissistic, she likes to control people, didn't go well with my character and how God made me and wanted me. I think God we agreed upon this life so that I would go learn the hard way some kind of things and also move towards my soul path eventually. But I didn't know all that then. Well, what happened? I wanted to finish my study, and what did she say? Because she owned all the money. Narcissists do that. They take over control, financial control over everything. So yeah, financial too. It was really about 800 euro, 1200 euro, because I only studied part-time. So I was placed out of home. I had to pay my own bills and some kind of fee for that, room I had. And I was working and I was still studying, and that was like a half a day a week. And then the rest you work, and you work on all kinds of, I don't know how to, I made tests, but I also had to do like market research and make whole plans and stuff. That's the way I went to school, not 4 or 5 days a week. And it was 800 euro, 1200 euro. Which 17-year-old making 700 euro a month by working her ass off and then having to pay bills, food, all the. And then they said, you chose to leave home, so you can manage that yourself, right? Well, I wanted to cut contact then, because I felt, and I have this thing with energy signatures that I know by now, but I didn't know them. The tone in her voice in saying that. I'll share one of these, why I cut all contact later. I'll do that. It broke my heart, and I just knew that it was like to really get at me, like take away any form of building something for myself. But okay, if you have a dream, something you are working towards, and emotion and thoughts and vision is one of the most powerful, magical things you can do on this earth. So that's a form of alchemy. So the divine will help you with that. So in my life, this is just an example of that. I wanted to finish school, actually, and at that time I didn't even know that I also wanted to get my bachelor's degree. I cried, I bawled my eyes out. I was still my then boyfriend, later became kind of my husband. I knew what this was evil, pure evil intent behind that. She bullied me away to make that decision to leave home. Actually, what happened is I almost broke my neck falling down the stairs, got a whole beating, and my dad was standing there. Dad, whatever. Don't worry, she's already leaving. Yeah. That was the end of of me living at home. I can tell. It took a while after that, but that was like the end. So, but what happened? Sometimes, so I'll give a few more examples straight after this and why I'm telling those kind of stories. I worked already for 4 years or something, studied there. I was in my final year, so it was €800 that I didn't have, that I needed to pay for tuition fees. What did and here comes the nasty thing again. My business, I worked in a shoe store. It's actually, I'm not going to mention the name, but it's actually an international, well-known business. My manager at the time said like, oh, we'll fix this for you. You know, you've been through so much. We will help you with this. So what did they do? They paid my tuition fee so I could finish my study. What did they also do? They told me that, how do you call that? Terugwerkende kracht. So the fee that was already paid, they said like, you know what, you worked for us, so and we think we want to invest in your study. Even though you didn't ask this before, we will pay your tuition fee for the whole 4 years. So me, broke AF, little girl, you know, just out of home trying to build something for herself. Guess who came knocking for that money? Towards Cinderella. You owe me. So that's what narcissists do. I gave you a shelter, I didn't even give you food anymore, you know, all those kind of, okay. So that, strike, after I moved out again. And and I see this trend in my life more. So, that was around 17. Going back to that, I finished my bachelor degree around 27. I was thinking, my then partner, we were engaged, he wanted to start a family. I felt a calling in my soul. I'm not ready for this. And I foresee coming that the risk of me in this state, that I'm going to ruin that child's life. I'm going to choose something that I don't feel ready for. Not even sure, do I actually want that with this person? Because he was pushing so much, and that doesn't work in a person's life. That works actually, you get an aversion towards someone if they keep trying when you're saying, So we broke up. We got actually kind of a divorce. We weren't really on paper we were married, and we bought a home together. So we had a rental home and a home that was still being built, at which we both invested in. We had like it wasn't 50-50 because that man made a lot of money, but we made it kind of that it was, how do you call that? Fair. How we shared work in the home and also paying the bills and stuff. But we invested in that home. What came to be, that home wasn't there yet. And so we broke up when I was 27, and around 28 it was actually all finalized, you know, but we had like a sort of, we worked our things out kinda. And I had the possibility back then, because we invested and it was shared on paper, that I could, and it fell to me, rip him off for 30K. Mind you that I didn't really have that much savings left anymore. So, you know, not to say, oh, look at me, how, But okay, and all kinds of people around me, both also to him, people, I don't know, people like drama a bit and like to poke at the fire that is going on to see, and whisper all kinds of things towards you. And they all said to me, like, you deserve that money, even though the house wasn't even there yet. Also, so we had a sort of agreement. I went back to a stepmother of mine for a while. Then he went to a friend of his, and we had still this rental home. And we came to an agreement. I said, I'm giving you that money about it because, yeah, taxes and stuff, let's try and see how this works out, because normally he still has to do a tax fee. It expired already, okay? So if anybody finds this on the internet, the moedertje staat, we say in Dutch, the taxes come because that would have been a gift. So we invested, and that was the worth of that home. And he would have had to buy me out of a home that wasn't even completely ready yet. And then I would have gotten 30K, but I would still, it would be with taxes and stuff. And it was actually more, but I would have held 30K of it. And same with if I gave it to him, and, we did this a bit, smart. And you come with that, because if you just throw around money, taxes are like, hey, that's a gift and you have to pay taxes over that, those kind of things. I said, keep it. I want you to be able to live in that home. And we still have this rental home, so let's just, go our separate ways as kind of, I don't want to say that we're still friends, or, I have a good relationship. I visit him and his wife and his child at times. And sometimes we call, how are you? We had 11 years of love. It's not gone, for some people maybe. They also say you can't stay really friends with your ex. I still go to New Year's parties and see old friends and stuff, and I'm still friends with some of his friends. So it can be without hate and or still wanting your ex back and those kind of things. Later, I had someone invest money in me in a certain, I'm not going to go way deep into this because I don't want to, but if you do good comes back to you. And it doesn't always mean that if you get blessed with money, yes, be careful with certain contracts you make or whatever. But I had someone in my life eventually later, so around my Saturn return, probably has to do with it, that also a bit divinely guided. I met a millionaire that wanted the best for me, a bit more actually, but that didn't happen, not going to happen. So I had to learn lessons in that too, because I saw manipulations around it. He had all kinds of ways, even after that amount of money that I was gifted, even way later after that, wanted to do way more than I found acceptable. To be still, being towards God, that I'm not abusing the situation in that. I don't think that would have manifested in my life, getting the certain amount that I was just discussing from someone. I'm not sure. I can't, sometimes you can't say, but I have a gut feeling about that if I would have, and I would have also lost a friendship, kinda. So, would have, if I would be greedy and wanted that 30K and stab my ex in the back and you don't have a home now and those kind of things. And it was within 2 years that I got that same amount of money back. But yeah, didn't really, I went hola die with that money, wasted that, because I fell into addiction also around that time. So I wasn't employed and I yeah, blew that money. I did good things with it also. Really a bit of charity and stuff also, you know. But yeah, it's not the same if you just get it like that. But a part of my blueprint, my divine blueprint, Capricorn does deal on in their blueprints a lot with getting money in magical ways. But you see how I worked towards that, because this was a business partner at first that became eventually I still am hard-headed in the friendship part, because I knew in the intent of this person, there we go again, energy intent, not that pure. And I can see through that. So he wanted to at first buy me a house. I have to sign a contract for that. Oh, no, 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 no. And I said, nah, I'm not gonna do that. And then I actually declined everything he offered me, but then that cash came on my account. Just like another, because, you know, a mortgage, way more than what I just discussed. So, and I made this person, I can tell you, and later on still in a form of, what do you call it? I'm still hesitant in calling this a friendship. I'll see. You know, I have to see more of energetic coherence in the coming time, or else I'll have to be completely done with that. You know, I don't feel guilty. I really don't. Like, thank you for the help in certain times. Sometimes that happens, you know. Like, okay, but I don't let like don't let anybody buy you. And if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. But okay, I don't feel guilty about this, because I made a lot of money for this person, and I still have the intellect to make a lot more for him, and he knows that too. So don't think millionaires just go throwing their money around only to get some pool. You know, he knows that, so he never got, and it's not gonna happen ever. But yeah, I believe that too. You know, that keeps my heart a bit more like into like, okay, I didn't do anything wrong. I was always honest in that, like, nah, not gonna happen. Keep trying. No, better stop trying. And then yeah, still got blessed with some things on my path in that. But I want to be selfish, you know, completely. You know, if it means I have to travel across the world away from the Netherlands to be like completely, I don't feel sorry at all if I have to cut somebody off for certain reasons. Before I do, we've had a whole. I'm very loyal, and I'm very into having mutual beneficial relationships, and if I can't fulfill that, I'm honest about that if I can't do that at the moment. So I tried starting up a friendship, and I felt still the non-balance. Then it's better to say like, I can't do this right now, and I'm sorry for that. Okay, maybe one day try again, or maybe just leave it. So those are coming back like a whole lot of storylines, but it's like, okay, you know, 1727, what I'm working towards, and how I've seen manifestations in my life at the moment. What I'm working towards healing, and a very specific thing, but I know that has to do with a lot of other things I went through in my life, why I'm using certain coping, negative coping ways. I took action upon that, and way before I actually knew the time that I would be in and how things would go and stuff, I can tell you, I had a lot of money, blew a lot of money, made a lot of money, and again, losing. I never got fired, but in mutual agreement, due to active addiction, not during work hours, but yeah, if you drink 1.5, 2 bottles in the evening and then go to work the next day, good luck with that. And especially I earn pretty well. You can't I didn't want to keep up that facade of not being able to deliver what I'm getting paid for. And those people actually helped me too by cutting me slack. And actually some person also with again money. That's part of my Capricorn, okay? Don't blame me. Don't think I'm asking people a lot for money or stuff. They call that, yeah, I don't know, that's also orchestrated in your life to be able to have time for your spiritual path or work towards goals you have. Sometimes you get lucky like that without any the other person wanting anything in return, just wanting to give you a stronger foundation. And that only happens when you have taken steps, manifestation steps, whatever you want to call it, in working towards that. Then you get assistance, and that comes in all kinds of ways. People, places, things come towards you then, because you're vibrating on yeah, they call, higher vibration, or working towards that. Just call it God cheerleading you and then sending someone to you, help her. And that person is, I don't know why I feel I have to do this. That's really how that goes. And maybe only in my divine, but it is what it is, okay? I'm probably God is going to probably wanting me, if I don't do that and take advantage of everything, if I would have taken advantage of everyone and think of like, oh, I deserve this, and oh, I didn't have to do, I just manifested it. God is going to want to see something in return for it too, not in you owe me, but in do something really good with it. So let me tell you, steps I took in my healing, I would have gone 2 months away for that. And that all, I'm getting, I have to say honestly, I'm getting some state funding at the moment. But I am, because I thought I would go somewhere away that I couldn't work for 2 months. So that's how in the Netherlands that works. You get some state funding. Don't think that's a lot. But yeah, I could have been homeless and, have no money at all. So I'm blessed with that. But I'm also doing volunteer work for actually something I maybe will later go into if I'm later on my journey and working really towards that. Because I feel that's divinely guided too. What they do and what I can do for them, and being able to do that at the moment. But I also asked the state for help. So I collected some debt in the spiraling, when 1.5 years when I really spiraled out of control in my addiction, and I couldn't really hold a job, and then thinking if I stop for a month and go back to work again, and I can temper this, and then and that foundation I built every time, because the core isn't right, just came down like a house of cards again. So that's why I'm working on the long run of healing first, and then go back into really getting paid for a certain career. But I'm still feeling I'm still on the right path. Also, with therapy I'm doing, said it before, there's a Capricorn statue there. Right place, right time, I believe. Of a sign and a synchronicity on choices I have made. I also I went to court for this, so I had a certain amount of debt. And because I'm not employed and I get some state fee to, not lose my home, the state doesn't keep doing that. That's for a certain amount of time. And if you can show that you're really working on getting better. So they call it sick, sort of sick fee. Like you when you're sick in employment, but then the state takes that over. I was in debt and I had like somebody help me with that still, so I only get a certain amount of budget to spend, and then we're working on that. And he told me in the beginning of this year, I don't know how I'm gonna do this, especially now you're sick, because I wasn't at first. I was still employed for, I get paid pretty well for what I do. But yeah, I said like I really can't. I can't keep this up and I can't stop. I need help. I need to go there. Okay, but then the plan changes and then it would take about 1.5 years before you're out of debt. This week he called